Hello and welcome to Book Club. We're going to read a bit more of yesterday's chapter from The Explorer. Yesterday we read a chapter and the birds that we came across were vultures. These are scavenger birds that often eat dead bodies. Suddenly Max stopped. It's there. He pointed up at a low-hanging branch. See, I wasn't lying. Above their heads rose a great flowering white tree. From one of the branches hung a small animal, unlike anything Fred had ever seen before. It was looking up with huge eyes at a vulture in the branches above its head. On the ground below, there were 3 chunks of pineapple untouched, and some distance away, 2 more vultures crouched over the corpse of a larger version of the same animal. "Get away!" yelled Leela. She ran forward, kicking at the birds. "Get away from it!" The 2 vultures on the ground took off, startled, but the vulture in the tree only ruffled its feathers. It was enormous, as broad as a Labrador around the middle, and its eyes watched the tiny animal hungrily. The animal on the branch let out a mew like a cat. It was grey-brown with a cream face, a dog-like snout, and immense black eyes. Its arms were long and chicken bone thin, ending in curved claws. It was small enough to cup in your hands. Leela ran to the base of the tree, gripped the lowest branch, and scrambled with her feet against the trunk. The vulture, feeling the tree shake, flapped its wings, cawed, and disappeared. Leela hauled herself into the branches. Her knees were shaking. Her breath was unusually loud. She sat on the branch where the animal was perched and began to scoot forward, both hands gripping tight. With quivering fingers, she unwound its legs from the branch and rewound them around her arm. The creature let out a mewling sound. Leela began to edge backwards along the branch. Fred could hear her whispering praise under her breath. She stumbled as she landed on the ground and fell halfway, but made sure to keep the arm with the animal high above her head. Max ran to her. "What is it? Let me see." "It's a sloth," said Leela. Her voice was hushed with an awe. "A baby sloth." Fred stepped closer. It was one of the most extraordinary things he had ever seen. It was a very ugly and very beautiful, both at once. Its fur still had the fluffiness of babyhood. "Let's make it play," said Max. He grabbed at Leela's arm. "No." Leela seized his wrist, cradling the sloth against her chest. "Don't. You'll hurt it." The brother and sister glared at each other. "No, I won't. I'll be soft." "Maxie, you won't." "Maxie, you mustn't. It's terrified. It doesn't have a mother to protect it. See, it's shaking." "But I love it." Max looked dangerously close to tears. "But it doesn't need you to love it to death. It needs us to be slow," whispered Leela. "Come on, Maxie, let's take it back to the camp. You can bring that pineapple." Back in the clearing, Leela made a bed of soft grass for the sloth. She set it down on its stomach, where it would lay quivering, and held out the pineapple to it. "I want to touch it," said Max. "No," said Leela, as she sat down. Let him catch his breath. The sloth shook. Leela shook. Every part of her radiated longingly. It was probably best, Fred imagined, to leave people alone at such moments. People suddenly bludgeoned by passions were unpredictable. They might bite or cry. He stepped backwards, giving her room. The sloth moved very slowly out of its bed and towards Leela. It reached her chute and crawled. So slowly, Fred was sure he could hear its muscles stretching and retracting under its fur, into Leela's lap. With a peculiar jerky grace, the sloth reached out and grasped the pineapple between its front claws. Leela didn't seem to be breathing, but it was as if a light came out of her. She seemed to glow out into the forest. The sloth struggled to arrange the fruit so it could bite it, but Leela didn't move. She sat stock still, watching as it sprawled itself more comfortably across her lap. It moved like an unoiled rocking horse, Fred thought. Leela looked up and saw them. I've never seen one in real life, she whispered. People always told me sloths were slow and stupid, but I think they're only slow the way a ballet is slow. Very, very softly, she laid a finger on the sloth's chest. I can feel its heart. It's fast. It's a different rhythm. The sloth finished chewing at the pineapple. It crawled up Leela's arm and clung to her. Up near her shoulder, resting its head just below her right ear, it made a little snorting noise, and Leela's hair ruffled. He needs a name, said Con. I've never named anything, said Leela. Her neck twisted to look at the sloth. He was trying very slowly to eat her earlobe. You don't have pets? Asked Fred. It seemed strange for a person who was so clearly designed to live alongside living things. I was never allowed one. I begged and begged, but Mama and Papa move a lot for their work, and they said it wouldn't be fair. Leela looked hard at the sloth. She narrowed her eyes. Her lips formed a word. What's his name? Asked Max. You have to tell us. It's a secret. Abacachi, she said. Yes, said Max authoritatively. That's good. Say it again, said Con. Abacachi. It's Portuguese for pineapple, said Leela. Baca for short. And that's the end of today's chapter. Read the next one tomorrow. Bye, Year 6.